Welcome to the Healthpreneur Podcast. My name is Uriel Kame, New York Times bestselling author, former professional athlete, and founder of Healthpreneur, the world's leading company helping health and fitness experts start and scale high-end coaching businesses. If you want to attract more clients, learn how to convert them without feeling salesy, and deliver an amazing program for them on the back end, if you want to be inspired by what others just like you have gone through and how you can do the same no matter what life throws your way, then you are in the right place, because every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be bringing you the best to help you take your knowledge and expertise to the next level with your health or fitness coaching business. And if you enjoy what you see and hear and would like to take your business to the next level, then I invite you to check out our free online training over at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. And for now, let's get into today's episode. What's going on, guys? Yuri back with you, and welcome back to the podcast. Really excited to have another guest with us today. Her name is Tanya Paynter. I'm excited to have you on the show, and we're going to be diving into whatever it is you need help with today. So welcome to the show, Tanya.
Hi, thank you, Yuri. I appreciate being here.
Absolutely. So tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about yourself, what you do, who you help, and then we'll dive into today's session.
Sure, sounds good. So as you said, my name is Tanya Paynter, and I'm a naturopathic doctor practicing out of Spokane, Washington. And about 6 months ago, I decided that I wanted to try to extend my reach a little bit further than our local community. And so I've started to bring my skill set online and trying to kind of build a business, reaching out more specifically to women suffering from chronic pain and fatigue, symptoms like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, things like that. And so I built a program specifically designed for that, and that's why I'm here.
Wicked. So chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, or one or the other? Or?
They kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. So it's mostly, most of my women patients have a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, or they could very easily be given one. So it's kind of more geared specifically towards, the chronic pain, the insomnia, the depression, the fatigue. It's kind of that fibromyalgia picture.
And this is women, age range, doesn't matter?
Yeah. Or? I'm gearing my my people towards the 35 to 55 tends to be my patient population, so that's just what I stuck with.
Cool.
But it really could be available for anybody suffering. I have women as young as 20 that come see me. So,
All right. So talk to me about. Well, give us a sense of your business model. So how do people come in, and how do you convert them into clients?
Well, as I said, I just started this about 6 months ago. And so I currently am doing, excuse me, I'm currently, basically my model is I have a website. I'm trying to work on growing my email list and, some of my social media following, doing a lot of content there, and then inviting them in to do a free phone consult to kind of talk about whether the program would be a good fit based on their symptom picture or not. And then moving forward, I'm in the middle of my beta testing right now. So I'm not super far in as far as really selling it. But, I'm struggling with gaining traction as far as, growing my email list and the social media.
Okay. You're not alone. Every single person we speak with is the same stuff. So we see this over and over again.
Well, this is going to be boring for you then.
No, it's not. The thing is, people need to hear this over and over again, because it just doesn't work. I'll be very honest with you. Well, let me ask you a question first. So when you're posting content, are you posting content on your website, or is it on the website, social, both?
It was everything, and I realized that is the very quickest way to burn out. So I stopped doing that quickly. So I do maybe once a month, I do a blog and send that out to my newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And then so mostly it's just trying to post at least daily on the social media.
And what are you using for social?
I have a Facebook page, I have a private or a closed group, and then I have an Instagram account.
Which of those three tends to get the best engagement?
I'd have to say it's a toss-up between my Facebook and my Instagram business pages. I'm not getting a whole lot of engagement in my my closed group right now.
That's right. So page and Instagram. How many people are inside the group?
In my closed group,
Yeah.
I have about 42, I think was the last count.
Okay. And email lists. How big is your email list right now? How big do you want it to go?
Well, I'd love to aim for, about 1,000 people, at least initially.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's at, I want to say 45.
And you're emailing them how often?
Right now I'm emailing them twice a month.
Of the 45 people, do you know how many people open?
I think my open rate was about 33%.
Okay. Just one metric to consider. The smaller your email list, the larger your open rate should be. So on a 45-person email list, your open rate should be close to 100%, to be honest with you, because it's pretty small. But the reason for that most likely is that you're emailing your list only twice a month. Okay. So the key is, you know what? I gotta let my dog out. Give me 2 seconds and then I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
We don't do any fancy edits here. That's all gonna be part of the episode.
Love it.
Why email just twice a month?
Like I said, I've been trying to, I was trying to do everything too much. I mean, I have 2 little kids. I have a busy clinical practice, a physical practice here, and it was just starting to get really overwhelming. And so I've been just trying to pick where I think that my attention is best spent. Sure. And so I had been emailing them weekly. I still wasn't seeing a great response to that. And so then I decided, okay, well, let's try shifting over and seeing if I can build it a little bit more, working on the social media aspect, trying to drive them to the email list, and then working, maybe kind of going back over to the email list again. Sure.
Would you email more often if you had a structured plan to know exactly what you're going to send?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what we find is a lot of times people don't email enough or even post enough for 2 reasons. Number 1 is they don't want to annoy people. Number 2 is they don't have a plan. So they spend a lot of time and energy thinking, what am I going to send tomorrow or next week or whatever? So I have a philosophy which is think once. So we have a process called Social Authority Amplifier, which is a 30-day calendar to map out all of your content in 1 hour a month. And then you just let it go. Like you just let it fly. So the key thing is with content, part of it is planning, which is extremely important, but second is also what you're sharing. So what type of, of the 2 emails that go out or of the stuff that you post on social, what is a typical content piece look like? Like what are you sharing in that content?
So for my email list, twice a month right now, I send out a notification of my newest blog post, which is usually about something around chronic pain, chronic illness, fibromyalgia. And then the second of the month is usually, I call it a pain protocol. So basically taking a specific symptom that my fibromyalgia patients tend to suffer from and giving them a protocol around things that they can do at home to try to help ease some of the symptoms that they're experiencing. Okay. So that's my email content. And then that format has changed. Actually, this month is the first month that I implemented that part. So I don't know what the open rate for the pain protocol would be yet, but and then my Facebook group, I have most of my content in my closed Facebook group. I'm doing a lot of Facebook lives on, again, things that affect a lot of chronic pain patients. So things like insomnia and depression, anxiety, nerve pain, muscle pain, joint pain, and then working a lot on the foundational things that they can do to help support themselves.
Cool.
Instagram and my Facebook.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying on the Instagram and Facebook page is more kind of pointing them towards that closed group. So little teasers of what I'm posting in there.
Cool. I want to give you a little saying that I think is hopefully helpful for every health professional watching this or listening to this. This is, I think, really important when it comes to content. So you have know-how, right? So you know how to solve a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the things that we teach our clients is you have know-how, but share know-how, which means when you give like pain protocols or any how-to advice for free, what is the likelihood of someone actually doing something with that and getting results?
Probably fairly low. They don't have anything invested in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it does two things. Number one, it's actually a disservice to them because they're not actually going to do anything with it. And that's the sad truth about humans as a species. If we don't pay attention, right? We place more value on things that we actually pay for. That's just the reality of things. Second is it actually hurts your conversions because what happens is the person says, cool, I got this protocol. Thanks so much, Tanya. I'm going to give it a shot. End of conversation. And so what this does is it satiates their desire. It scratches their itch, if you will. And so now their need to consult or work with you diminishes dramatically, right? Okay. So what we want to think of, we call this teach to sell. How do we teach in a way that sells instead of teach to teach, which is just teaching for the sake of giving stuff away? The challenge with quote unquote blog content or typical organic content on Google or YouTube is that it's very SEO based, which means that you have to use content that people would search for in Google, right? So like how to stop a migraine headache, stuff like that. The dilemma in 2019 with our profession is that Google has slapped health big time about a year ago. Sorry, I should say natural health. I don't know if you noticed now when you type in anything, the top searches are like Healthline, WebMD.com, all the medical nonsense. It's a terrible user experience, to be honest. I can't even stand it anymore. Which means if you don't already have a massive authority platform, your content's not going to be seen by anyone, right? Even our website it was getting 1.4 million visitors a month, dropped down to 750 within 2 months. Josh Axe, who is arguably the largest natural website on the planet, they're getting 30 million unique visitors a month. Overnight, they lost 11 million visitors a month.
Wow.
So number one, we can't compete with websites like that. And even those websites are being crushed. So this is why I'm not a huge fan of playing the traditional how-to content game, because how-to content is SEO content for the most part, right? What I'm in much more favor of is building out social content. So social content has nothing to do with how-to. It's all about charisma, personality, you as a person, ways of engaging people. So you can share a little bit of how in the mix there, but for the most part, it's going to be like 10% or less. So most of the stuff that you'll want to share is going to be stuff about a lesson you learned while you were traveling last weekend, right? And how this applies to people's health, like 3 mistakes people make when treating their issues, or your beliefs and opinions about things. Because what marketing is sharing opinions and beliefs more than anything, to the point where people know, like, and trust you, so that selling becomes almost unnecessary. Do you agree, or if someone were to post a bunch of like how to do this, top 10 ways to do this, this, versus here is, something I'm struggling with, or, here's one of my weaknesses, or the reason I got into this is because, or the one thing I'm most passionate about is this. If you had like 2 people sharing those types of content, right? One is very academic how-to, the other one is more personal, more approachable. Which one do you think is going to receive more engagement?
Probably the more personal, more of a conversation with the person posting. Yeah.
And this is the challenge for a lot of health professionals, is that we have this curse of knowledge. Don't want to share everything we know. Like, hey, look at how smart I am. I have this thing that can help you. Do it. And then they don't. So, and this, believe me, it took me a long time to come to terms with this. But I think that's really, really important, especially in 2019, where social is really where everyone is. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, all of that content it's not so much how-to content anymore. It's social. It's about getting people engaged, and it's about interacting with people and then showing them through little snippets of social proof here and there, or little things here and there that can help them, that, you're the best alternative for, what it is that they're looking for.
Okay.
Just gotta let my dog in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So that's just from a content perspective. Now, even with that said, the reality is that doing that takes a long time, right? So to build a Facebook following, an Instagram following, it takes a long time. I have a good friend who I'm in a mastermind with. He has 400,000 followers on Instagram, teaches millennials how to use the internet to grow their businesses. And I said, I'm like, dude, how do you, because we have about 7,500 followers on Instagram. I'm like, dude, how do you build your following on Instagram? And he told me straight up, he's like, you pay for it. That's it. And that's the reality is we're in a day and age where you almost have to pay to play. That's the reality. So one of the things with social is it's going to take a long time to do things organically like that. Do you know about our perfect client pipeline?
I do.
Okay. And so this is why this is all we teach our clients, at least initially, because right now, so you've been in business for 6 months, which is great. Our goal with our clients is within 6 months to help them have a runway, a foundation of their business where they're making tens of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis. Right? It doesn't happen all the time. It depends on the person's ability to take action and the strength of their offer, et cetera. But the reason it works more often than not is, and I'll just draw this out for everyone who doesn't understand or know what I'm talking about, is we have 4 steps, right? There's only 4 steps. And the reality is what most people try to do is this, if this is a mountain and they're trying to get to the top up here, what happens is they try to, so this is us. Well, that person needs a chiropractic adjustment. So they have this bag that they're carrying up the mountain, right? And inside this bag, we've got content, we've got videos, which is also content, we've got webinars, we've got books, we've got supplements, we've got all sorts of stuff. We have summits. There's all sorts of things we could do to get up the mountain, right? But if someone has all of this stuff on their back as they're trying to scale the mountain, are they going to have an easier time or a tougher time?
A lot harder time.
Yeah. So what we found is that what if there was a cable car that could get us to the top of the mountain that only involved 4 steps? And those 4 steps are what we do in our perfect client pipeline. So the first thing that we do is called predictable prospecting. And what this means is this is a way to predictably get in front of your prospects 24/7, even if you're chilling out on the beach or working or sleeping or anything. The reason it's predictable is that it works when you don't. And you have a specific message that's put in front of your perfect clients or perfect prospects all the time. And we do that using Facebook ads. Now, the reason we do this using Facebook ads is because Facebook has a platform of 1 billion plus users right now, and every single person on there is a perfect client to someone. So if you're looking for women with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia between 35 and 55, there are many of them on Facebook. We actually have clients who target those specific women. So Facebook has everything you need with respect to that. The challenge with Facebook, and Facebook has told us this, is when you post something on your wall, like your Facebook page, less than 2% of people see that. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 fans on your Facebook page, only 20 people will see anything you post, which is downright depressing. So Facebook has told us if you want to play with Facebook, you have to pay. So the beautiful thing about a Facebook ad is it's like a 24/7 digital salesperson or content deliverer that is putting your message in front of a certain number of people you determine based on how much you want to spend every single day without fail. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So from the Facebook ad, we then invite people to some type of training. We call this a webinar, online workshop, whatever you want to call it. And we call this Teach to Sell. And the reason we call this Teach to Sell, because as I mentioned before, this is not about giving how-to. It's about moving people from where they are to where they want to be and showing that the gap that they're in right now is not going to be solved by what they're doing. And we're basically introducing a smarter system to help them get there. So we build their desire to want to work with us. We show them that you are the most logical choice, that you know what you're doing, that you have people that you've helped before, and that any alternatives that they're thinking about are not only archaic, but are probably not going to work. The right people will then step up to the next phase, which we call Ask and Assess, which is essentially an application. We're going to ask them a few questions to see where they are, where they want to go, some other things to make sense of their situation. And then if they're a good fit, they will book a time to have a call with us. And we call this Coach to Close. We call this Coach to Close because really it's a coaching call, not a sales call, although it does result in a sale or an enrollment if the person is a mutual good fit for your program. So those are the only 4 steps. Like, this is all we do with our clients, every single one of them. And the reason for this is because I have yet to find someone, after working with thousands of people, who've come in and have said, hey, Yuri, it's all good. I've got my cable card at the top already. I'm good. I just need to start to add on stuff or streamline stuff. I've yet to find someone like that, because the way our brains have been wired is more is better, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so much distraction. There's so much noise out there. And we think that we have to do all sorts of stuff, but the thing is you don't. So what we do with this is we build a foundation. It's like building the foundation for your business, like the skeletal anatomy of your body, if you will. And this allows you very quickly to go from 0 following, no one knows who you are, no website, to having clients enrolling with you in the space of a couple days. Obviously, you have a bit of context with this beforehand. Do you have any questions about these 4 steps?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. So one of our clients, Daniela, she helps parents with kids who have autism. She deployed her pipeline, and in the space of 2 weeks, she had 100 people book phone calls with her.
Wow.
That's how fast this can happen. We had another client. I mean, we see this all the time. We have another client, Brandy, who's a naturopathic doctor, was working 60 hours a week in her clinic, had no online footprint at all. And in 2 months, we helped her build out her pipeline. And in her second month online, she did more than $27,000, working half as many hours that she was doing in the clinic. And she was able to spend more time with her son. And this is what happens is the thing is we have to understand that business is a system. It's a system that brings predictable profit for the owner while producing amazing outcomes for the clients. And when we're posting on social media, when we're creating content, when we're doing a lot of the doingness, a lot of that stuff is manual effort, right? And unless you have people doing it for you, you end up having a job, which is where I started for a long time when I started online in 2006. And what we do with this is we help you build a system that works for you, so that the only thing you're really doing, to be honest with you, Tanya, is you're only doing the phone calls. That's it. And then on the back end, once you've enrolled people, is the actual coaching. Mm-hmm. So that is what I would suggest you do in your situation.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter how much of a following you have, if you have a website or not. It doesn't matter if anybody knows who you are. All that matters is 3 things, and these are the only 3 things that matter. Number 1 is expertise. You have to be able to help people. And You can do that, right? That's the question. Number two is confidence. So confidence in the sense that when you're on the phone with someone, you can lean in and be like, you need to do this, because if you don't do this, you're going to continue suffering, and that's not good. So having that confidence to really tell someone, if there's a mutual fit, that this is the best thing for them to do, regardless of what the price is. And number three is courage. Courage to step into the unknown of, I've never done Facebook ads. I don't know how to do a webinar, whatever. I mean, all that stuff is teachable and learnable, but courage to step into the fear of what happens if this doesn't work. What happens if, people leave negative comments on my ads? What happens if I get on the phone with 10 people and they all say no? And courage is a really, really big thing that I've noticed over the years, because a lot of people get paralyzed by fear, and fear holds us back from moving forward. And that means the people you want to serve continue to suffer, right? Mm-hmm. So in your estimation, do you meet those three traits?
I do.
Yes. And that's all you need. That's all you need. So the next question is, when do you want to get started? I feel like I'm on an enrollment call here.
On a call, yeah. I mean, I'm like 95% there already. I don't think you have to convince me too much more. Do I need to actually have my program done? Like I mentioned that I'm right in the middle of my beta testing. Is that a problem? I mean, do I want to wait until I get that perfected before I kind of move forward on this?
No, so that's actually the first thing we do with our clients. So in our HBA program, Health Business Accelerator, the first thing we do is we have super clear on your clients, your avatar, and what the program looks like. So we help you work through what it, like if it's, well, let's talk really quickly about it here, is how long is in your mind at least, how long is the program from start to finish for your clients?
Yeah, it's 12 weeks.
Okay, perfect. So 12 weeks, and then we help you map out, okay, well, what's happening week by week or module by module? What has to be there for the person to win? And what doesn't have to be there that might just overwhelm them, right? So that's the first thing we do, is really super clear on what that structure looks like. What we don't do right off the bat is worry about putting in all the contents. Like that can happen over time. But the most important thing is you have to have a clear understanding. If you're on the phone with someone and you're saying, all right, so you have this issue, here's exactly how we help you solve that. If you have clarity on how to, for instance, like map out your process, and you can show them the end results, that's all you have to do. And then filling in or filming the content or creating, the material is honestly the easy part on the back end. But that is the first thing we'll use. So we help you build up, number one, clarity on the avatar, clarity on the coaching program, and then we help you build up the pipeline so that when it's ready to hit deploy, now you have something for people to fall into, with the understanding and giving yourself permission for it to not be perfect right away, because it'll always get better over time. Right? And that's like, our program has gotten better every single month since we first launched it. And we let our clients know, like, don't procrastinate to try to perfectionate.
Right.
Perfectionate. The word, it just sounded good. But yeah, so just get it out there. Minimum viable product. It's good enough to help people. And with their feedback, it'll get better over time. Yeah. Does that make sense?
That does.
So Tanya, I know this is, we've covered some good ground here. What has been most useful from our conversation today?
I think what you said at the very beginning is that, this is the same problem that everybody has. And then everybody needs to hear it over and over again. And it's like, I've heard this before, but you just said it to me in a way that, helps to reiterate that my struggles over the last 6 months doesn't mean that I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm doing. It just means that I don't know how to sell online. So it just kind of gave me a little bit more hope when I was feeling like I was drowning a little bit. So sure. that was really, really helpful for me.
That's great. See, the cool thing is you've done the hard work. Like you have the naturopathic background. It would be like, see, it's funny because the way I see this is you spend 8 years in school? ish?
Yeah, it was about 6.
Okay, you're a smarter one. So you're 6 years in school, you get your degree, you get this amazing amount of knowledge that can transform endless number of lives. And then we go out and build a business trying to figure things out on our own. It would almost be like having people come into your clinic with no knowledge of how to help them and then be like, okay, let's try to figure this out together, right? So it's weird that we spend a lot of time and energy and money going through school, which is really important to get our expertise. But then when we go out and build a business, it's almost like we're just winging it. Right? And that's one of the biggest challenges that we see, not just in the health profession, but in a lot of other businesses. And what I firmly believe is, like, listen, if they taught this stuff in school, along with your education, like, you'd be coming out with a degree and business acumen to be able to help people, but they don't, right? And that's why we exist, and that's why we do what we do. And we've had clients for like $300,000 in debt from their student loans and stuff.
Yeah, doesn't sound far off.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that there's no system that's taught to show you how to recoup that and then some. So anyways, so that's why we do what we do. That's why we're here. And that's our mission, is to really, we want to help more experts like yourself build great businesses, because there are a lot of people that need your help. You shouldn't be a martyr in serving them. And, if we can help you make more money and live a better quality of life and serve people and transform their lives, I think that's a really nice combination. So anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Cool. Awesome, Tanya. Well, thank you for taking the time for being super transparent and honest about, what you've been up to, what's going on. And for everyone listening and watching, hope you guys took some notes. Hope you guys kind of just introspect a little bit on your businesses as well. And if you need our help, just reach out. We're happy to have a conversation to see if we can. And for now, hope you guys have an awesome one. Tanya, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys soon. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Healthpreneur Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, here's what I'd like you to do right now. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Healthpreneur Podcast on iTunes. And while you're there, leave us a rating or review. It helps us get in front of more people and change more lives. And if you're ready to start or scale your health or fitness coaching business and want to start getting in front of more people, working with them at a higher level without trading time for money, then I invite you to check out our free 7-figure health business blueprint training, totally free right now. And you can do so at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. For now, thank you so much for joining us. Continue to be great, do great, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.